Welcome back, folks. Today's Saturday, April 13th at 7:08 a.m. My name is James, and let's have a look here and see what's going on. Actually, before we do that, um, I wanted to say that I'm not a guru, and I'm not trying to be a guru. This channel is mostly about trying to keep myself focused, and I happen to be bringing you guys along for the ride. Um, but if there's anything that I do that you don't understand, and you'd just like me to explain it, let me know in the comments, and then I can, I could do a separate video if you want, or try to explain just how I do something, and maybe it'll help you. Okay, I just wanted to say that. So let's take a look. Last week ended up being quite good. You can see the S&P 500 up 19 on Friday, and look at where the all-time highs are. We're only about, well, less than 40 points on the S&P 500 from all-time highs. We just keep trying to find ways to go up, it seems like, which is actually really good. The NASDAQ doing the same thing. 8133 is the high. We're not quite over 8,000 yet, but still heading that way. The Russell, quite a ways from all-time highs, but we are holding above the 200-day, and that's good too. The oscillator that I use, the NASDAQ McClellan oscillator, is at an 8. Overbought would be a 40, oversold would be a negative 40. So we're just about flat right now, even though the Dow is up pretty big, and so was the NASDAQ on Friday. We're still just about flat, which is actually pretty good. That means we still have room. We're not overbought. We've still got room to go. Okay, looking at my list, I've cleaned some things out of here. So there are some that I mentioned in a previous video that just won't be here now because they're just not doing anything or no longer interesting. So NVDA got downgraded on Friday from, I saw somebody on StockTwits say, is this even a bank? Is this even a real bank? That was funny. But yeah, it still had a reaction, but you can see I drew a lower line here, and it actually held on that line. Oops, let me get that bigger. Right here, you can see I drew the line based off these levels, and it still held. So the volume was up a little just because it was a downgrade, but I still think NVIDIA will probably bounce off the lower line unless we get some kind of really, really bad futures on Monday or something, and it starts to put some more pressure on NVIDIA. I think it'll still bounce off that lower line and continue to climb higher. Xilinx, look at this move. This was Thursday. No, this was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Nice, still looks really good. Lots of upside movement there. Shopify, boy, was Citron wrong. Look at what this thing's doing now. But I wish volume was higher up here as a cross. The volume did come up some, but it wasn't huge. But yeah, the trend was up from that dip lower the whole way up. So still looks good. Nice close right up near the high on Friday too. American Tower I just added. They have really good earnings and sales right now, and you can see the trend is definitely up. And now we've got a little sunny triangle that looks like it's on the verge of coming up through. So I have a breakout at 198.20 just to make sure it clears the high. That looks really good. Alibaba looked kind of weak on Thursday, but then popped up. So that looks really good. Still looking good there. Etsy, what happened to Etsy? I did not see any news to cause this, unless I just missed it. I held the lower line. I was able to adjust these more into direct contact with these points. So far it's still holding that. Hopefully it rebounds off the lower line and keeps going in the pattern. Match group, nice, still out of the pattern. So it broke out, moved up, and then it dipped on Friday, but still in the pattern. It even dipped below what would be the breakout point a little bit. Let's see here, that's 176. The low was 160. Yeah, so My stop on this would probably be about $1 to $1.50 because it's only $57. 56.83. The low here was 56.27. Yeah, you'd still be in if you had a stop. That was about $1.50, and it bounced off the line. So it should start moving up again, unless there's some sort of negativity that comes along that it doesn't like, and the price just starts dropping. Technically, it should continue to go sideways from here or trend higher. FTNT, look at this bad boy. Look at the volume. This is a fantastic move, man. Breakout right there, lots of volume, a rest day, and the trend continues. That is fantastic. So for this, just how I would do it, I would have entered here and had about $1, $1.50 stop, maybe $2. And then as soon as you start seeing more upside, I would just set my stop to break even and let it go. And I would sit at break even until it started to consolidate again. And I would still be at break even until that consolidation is broken to the upside again. Then I would set my stop again to about $1.50 to $2 below the breakout point of the second consolidation. That's just how I would do it. The reason I do it that way, I don't go a really tight stop. I've been stopped out too many times with really good moves being too tight. I like to watch the technicals of the actual chart, and so it's the only way that's really made sense to me. So why am I putting my stop where I'm putting my stop, and what is the price going to do technically, and where's the support level? So I went through all that stuff in the past trying to figure out where am I going to put the stop, and that's just the way that I've come up with that makes sense to me. And yes, I have had scenarios, and there's been scenarios on this channel where I would get in at a certain level, the stock would go way up, might make another consolidation, but not break out yet, and then tank, and I'm still down here, and it comes all the way back. Hard to go through, but if I'm going to follow rules and be strict with my rules, that's going to happen sometimes. Palo Alto, still out. That doesn't look too bad. Again, when these things break out and move above the lines, you wish there'd be a lot more volume and momentum that comes into the price. Like FTNT, that's a fantastic move. Can you compare something like this with that volume to something like this? Right now on Palo Alto, you just gotta hope that volume comes in and the price starts to trend higher in a bit more aggressive fashion, you know. Look at this, FANG. It was dumped on Thursday all the way to the bottom line. And then when they had the, I think it was Chevron and Anadarko merger, or Chevron's going to buy Anadarko, FANG took off and all the oils took off. And FANG breaks out and now it's out of the pattern. So that would have been a buy. Volume's huge. On the move down on Thursday, it didn't break any lines. It was still in the pattern and then broke out on Friday. So that's a buy. The volume was fantastic. Spotify. I hate this stock now. It just won't do anything. So there's still a line here. It looked like it should have broke out and didn't. I don't know why. There's a lot of resistance to upside in Spotify at these levels for some reason. But yeah, you could have bought it, although volume wasn't that great. So for me, and I'll say this, and I could probably go into it in another video in the future about volume, but most of the time, if you get a breakout of a line and the volume's not there, for me, I want to see 150% increase in volume of average. I think it's an average 15-day that I use. If I don't see that, I don't touch it. And that's what keeps me out. And at some point, I can go through my volume to, like, I mentioned it before, I just haven't done it yet. But I have a numbers spreadsheet that I use specifically for tracking volume during the day. iRobot, this dip was hard. If you got in here, that's pretty tough to stay in. But then the next day it spiked over, and now it's trending higher. So what I said before was, if you had gotten here but got stopped out on this dip, you could have easily bought it back the next day. And if you did buy there, you're still in now because it didn't dip again, and now it's trending higher. So that's tricky. I know that would be a hard entry to actually pull off, but it's still trending higher. So blue still in its pattern. Don't touch it till it breaks the upper line. How this guy's still holding above, so you'd still be in. Although this dip was pretty aggressive, but yeah, it's still above the line. Velocity still in the pattern, trying to trend higher. That looks pretty good. Forming out. This is the same type of thing where it's just forming the triangle. We're just really just watching the levels to see what happens. It seems to be following those lines, so looking pretty good. COUP, again, I probably didn't get this out to stock to it early enough, but this was an ascending triangle I spotted in during the day, and then when it started popping out, I got a screenshot and got it out. By the time I posted it, it was already over the line. I was trying to get it out there as fast as I could, but yeah, it broke out and it's trending higher and never came back, so should be in good shape. Again, so for me, if I had bought it right here, my stop would be $2 below. It never touched that, and then as the price begins to trend higher, I move the stop to break even as soon as I can, so that if it does ultimately turn over, I'm out at 0 or basically flat. You just don't lose that much if it comes back. MDB, this is weird. Hey, let's break out and then let's not do anything. That's just wonderful, right? But even if you're in at that breakout, your stop should still be holding you in. It didn't really dip low enough to knock anybody out, I don't think. And going sideways is actually not bad. So if it keeps going sideways and then eventually some buying kicks in again, you're going to be in really good shape on that one. Okay, so that's it. That's my list. Whoops, I kicked the cat. So yeah, the next video will be Monday night, I believe. And I'm hoping I can do a larger review, not during the video, but beforehand, and maybe try to find some new ones. Although the market is getting a little long in the tooth, there's been a lot of setups and a lot of breakouts of different stocks. For example, I can use NVDA as an example of one of the best possible patterns formed at one point, and you get a lot of upside trend. That's telling me that there's actually a move that's taken place that's already kind of old. We might be looking for a pullback here in a little while, and so new breakouts might not be the best thing to be looking at right now, except for unless you find something like FTNT, which is fantastic. Okay, so we'll see what I find, and then I'll see you on Monday. Have a good one.